Hello everyone, and congratulations on being selected to play on your school's unified basketball team. If you are a coach, thank you for taking on what can be a fun and rewarding role in shaping your individual players into a cohesive unit on and off the court. If you are a player, competing on a unified sports team is an honor and a privilege, and a lot of fun. Hopefully the information in this short video will help everyone get the most out of the unified high school sports experience. So what is unified sports?
Unified Sports is a unique opportunity that brings competitive interscholastic sports to a group of students that might not have had the opportunity before. Special Olympics Unified Sports brings students with and without intellectual disabilities together to compete alongside one another.
I want you to focus on teamwork, okay? I want you to be able to talk to each other and move the ball. You guys are great. You're awesome.
Like every other high school athlete at your school, the players on this team are expected to represent their school in a positive way on the playing field, in the classroom, and in the community. And also, like all the high school players at your school, the players on this unified team are expected to attend and be on time for every practice and game, and make sure that you are physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to play. In a nutshell, be a good teammate. Nationally, there are 3 levels of play for unified sports: recreational, developmental, and competitive. Here in Delaware, we play competitive. Competitive style includes having 3 athletes and 2 unified partners on the floor at all times. In the competitive style, it is often difficult to identify the Special Olympics athletes and the unified partners because of similar age and ability. Competitive play follows the rules of the sport's national governing body and Special Olympics rules. It is the responsibility of the head coach to know the rules and ensure they are followed at all times. Basically, the playing rules are the same ones that boys and girls varsity teams play by. The only different playing rule for unified basketball involves full court pressing. Teams are not allowed to press full court except during the final 2 minutes of each half and the final minute of overtime. But if your team is up by 15 or more points at that time, you are not allowed to full court press, even during the final 2 minutes of each half. The time of play for games is 6-minute quarters, and overtime is 3 minutes. This competitive level of play enables every team, in every game, to try their best to win, just like all of the other varsity teams at your school. Playing at the competitive level means that everyone, both athletes and unified partners, are going to play defense, and make steals, and grab rebounds if they have the chance. And on offense, they're going to run plays and work to get the easiest, most open shot available, but doing so while also keeping in mind that no player, athlete, or unified partner should be launching shots from everywhere and not involving their teammates. But competitiveness aside, like in any sport at any level, every coach and player should compete with integrity. What is integrity? Integrity in sports is promoting fair and honest performances through positive conduct by athletes, coaches, officials, and supporters. By doing so, you enhance the overall positive reputation of unified basketball. It is expected that everyone involved in unified sports will practice and compete with an understanding that each player should have opportunities for meaningful involvement, and no one player should dominate any aspect of a game or practice. So what is meaningful involvement? If your team is formed correctly, each team member will have at least the basic sport-specific skills and knowledge of the game. Meaningful involvement is a player positively contributing to the team, ideally in a variety of ways where they can achieve success. Here is a video further explaining and showing some examples of meaningful involvement, and a situation of a player unnecessarily dominating the game. And remember, there is a written rule that states if it is proven through video evidence that a team did not play with integrity, there can be consequences, including forfeiting that game.
The principle of meaningful involvement ensures that every player is given an opportunity to contribute to the success of his or her team through their unique skills and abilities. For all 3 models, it is important that every teammate plays a valuable role on the team that emphasizes his or her personal talents and skills, has an opportunity to play without a heightened risk of injury.
If the principle of meaningful involvement is not being followed by one or multiple players, there is player dominance.
Now that you've heard and watched some players being meaningfully involved, let's talk for a minute about examples of not playing with integrity. Some examples would be unified partners taking the first shot available multiple times in a row down the court, unified partners taking a three-pointer before trying to work the ball around to others, unified partners aggressively blocking jump shots of or stealing the ball from unified athletes, unified partners or unified athletes cherry-picking to get easy layups, a team having several possessions where a unified athlete does not touch the ball. If the players don't manage these situations on the court themselves, the coach must step in and do so. As mentioned earlier, meaningful involvement is a philosophy of ensuring that every player has an opportunity to positively contribute to the team, ideally in a variety of ways where they can achieve success. The philosophy of any sports team at your high school starts with the head coach. So, in order for your team to understand and incorporate the concept of meaningful involvement, you can count on the coaching staff to be on board with this philosophy, and making sure all of the players are too. Here is a short video describing the role of a unified sports head coach.
A unified coach has a key role in the unified team. She or he has a responsibility to form the team and to ensure that it's working as a team. He or she is facilitator for social inclusion and meaningful involvement in the team. The coach needs to demonstrate and support this philosophy during training and competition. He or she has the same role and authority to all players with and without intellectual disabilities and cannot be a player on the team. Inclusion and team building also can be developed through socializing activities off the court, such as barbecues, weekend trips, watching movies together.
Now let's talk about some examples of meaningful involvement in the sport of basketball. Sometimes it is harder to make sure that everyone is meaningfully involved because the game moves faster and there are fewer set plays called. And yes, designing set plays on offense is one of the easiest ways to help ensure everyone is meaningfully involved. The coach can design plays for when the team is setting up on offense and throwing the ball in bounds that both involve athletes and unified partners getting open shots. One thing we often see in basketball is a unified partner passing the ball to an athlete and then running over to them and taking it right back. Catching a pass and not being allowed to make a play is not meaningful involvement. Coaches should make sure players understand this and that they put all players into positions where they can catch and make a play and not be expected to just hand or pass the ball right back. As you see in this photo sequence, the unified partner, number 3, made the pass inbounds to an athlete and then went to an open spot on the left wing to become one option for a pass. This now gave the player with the ball 2 options, and he decided to pass to his teammate open on the right wing. From there, that player had 2 options: take an open jump shot or pass down low to the player in the low post. That's what you call meaningful involvement. As far as rebounding goes, it is expected that if you grab an offensive rebound under the basket and have a wide open layup, you shoot the ball, whether you are a unified partner or an athlete. After all, that is the sport of basketball, and the easiest way to keep that from happening if you're the other team is to box that player out. Now let's talk about player domination. No player, whether a unified partner or an athlete, should dominate the game. What is domination? Domination is when a player, whether they're a unified partner or an athlete, continually displays superior sports skills without involving their teammates. Domination can also be a player controlling the most critical points of a game, like in the final minutes of a close game. In simple terms, a dominating player would be considered a ball hog, just like the player pictured, who is forcing a shot instead of passing off to one of 2 wide-open players who would have easy layups. To avoid this, coaches should make sure the athletes are directly involved in a variety of basketball situations, like bringing the ball up the court, running an offensive play, or inbounding the ball. And don't forget, an athlete inbounding the ball uncontested after a made basket and then running up the court and never touching the ball again does not mean that athlete was meaningfully involved. However, there will be times when it might seem like a player is dominating, but they really are not. There is nothing wrong with the same player shooting the ball 2 or 3 times in a row, as long as they are wide open, and it's a shot they can make. That's not necessarily player dominance, but instead is just the nature of any team sport. But if that same player continues to be the primary shooter time and time again, then that becomes player dominance, and it should be avoided. Coaches, this is where you come in. It is important for you to make sure that no player, whether an athlete or a partner, becomes a ball hog on your team. And if for some reason they won't listen, the best thing to do is to take that player out of the game until they are willing to play the right way. Remember, while winning is important, doing so with integrity is the way to go. The most successful high school teams in any sport play with integrity. A successful team is made up of qualified coaches who instill the concepts of unselfish teamwork into their players at every practice and game, and who make sure every player is meaningfully involved to the best of their capabilities. A successful team regularly participates in practices so that they are all well prepared for several competition experiences throughout the season. Lastly, on a successful team, the coaches and players avoid allowing any one player to dominate and do their best to give everyone quality playing time with plenty of meaningful experiences. Coaches, as we wrap this up, please take the time on the next slide to use the QR code to fill out a very brief survey that will let us know your team completed this video and give you an opportunity to tell us what you'd like to see added to it. It will only take a minute to complete. Players, it's an exciting time for you as a high school athlete. The season is just getting underway, and the goal of every team is to win a state championship. Just please remember, there is a letter I in integrity. What that means is playing with integrity starts with each individual member of the team, the coaches, the athletes, and the unified partners. If everyone plays with integrity individually, that means that collectively the team will also. Have a great season, and remember, play smart, play hard but with integrity, and have fun. Coaches, please pause the video at this time and scan the QR code on the right to complete the Google form to verify that your team has viewed the Unified Sports Play with Integrity video. Thank you.